Well, let me get started. Well, thank you everyone for attending. This is cybersecurity for SMB, which is small to medium businesses or organizations. The fundamentals. This is not a sales presentation. I'm not going over vendors or products or pricing. And then almost everything I've mentioned here is at no cost or low cost. If there's a cost, Linkai doesn't sell it. We're just going to recommend a few things. So let's go. Okay. The reality of cyber attacks. All businesses, regardless of size, are at risk. Small businesses may not feel like they're targets for cyber attacks, either due to their size or perception that they don't have anything worth stealing. Only a small percentage of cyber attacks are considered target attacks, meaning that the attacker group is going after a particular company or group of companies in order to steal data. The majority of cyber criminals are indiscriminate. They target vulnerable computer systems regardless of whether systems are part of a Fortune 500, small business, or a home user. Over the years, we've been fortunate. We haven't had a lot of clients that have been experiencing issues, but they've ranged from, a 10-person company to a 50 to a 500-person company. There is no really rhyme or reason unless they're targeting you. And the modern small business or organization is actually more complex than you think about. There's email, which is the #1 target of all hackers for compromise. Mobile devices, your corporate website, if it's tied back to your CRM or your accounting system. Social media has been, it's just a treasure trove of personal data for people to do identity theft or try to get you to click on a phishing email. E-commerce systems, online banking. BYOD means bring your own device and the office policies that come with it. Network management, and then backup and remote access. Now, backup and remote access I'll go over, but now it's not only your PC, it's your servers, it's your Office 365, your accounting system. So there's often multiple places that you need to back up. Cybersecurity threats. #1 is phishing attacks. #2 is ransom. 3 is just general hacking. 4 is imposter scams. 5 is environmental events. And I'll go into detail in each one. Phishing attack is #1. Social engineering attacks involving trickery, really designed to gain access to your systems or steal data. A target phishing is called spear phishing, and there's variants now. Phishing by phone, smishing by SMS. SMS has actually been very common. I think everyone's received, your UPS delivery, your US Postal Service delivery, shipping, your DHL, click here, right? And then once you click there, it can infect your phone, or they're asking you to log into your accounts. Some general advice, check the domain. Is it really Amazon, or is it Amazon with 2 Z's, right? So it's very tough. Even I've learned not to click on links, on my phone when I'm driving or I'm distracted, because I'll just click on it quickly. So I slow down quite a bit when it's a mobile device. Don't open attachments from unknown senders. And don't click on links to reset your password unless you went on to the site to reset your password or request a reset password link. Instead, open a separate tab on your browser and type in the site, like a Citibank. Almost every single bank and financial institution has really stopped putting links in their emails. Ransomware, this is really malicious software with malicious intent. Usually they're asking you to pay a ransom, usually in Bitcoin. There's no guarantee that the ransom will pay. And we've been fortunate, I think less than 3 clients have been hacked with ransomware over the years. Usually it's an exploit through an email or some sort of system that's attached. So we had a client that had another machine that was managed by an outside HVAC vendor tied to their server. And that HVAC vendor got hacked, and unfortunately, ransomware was transmitted to the client's network. Um, Hacking, this is really just the general unauthorized access to your systems. Um, this is really beyond the end user to prevent. They're really going through known exploits. That's why it's very important to have your systems updated, protected with the firewall. We'll go into some more detail as well. Um, Imposter scams, that's really associated with phone call, emails. We actually had a client receive an email from Microsoft, and the client unfortunately called the number, which was not Microsoft. They were saying that one of their Office 365 accounts expired, and she provided them access to the computer. They got in and start installing malware. Luckily, she got a funny feeling, hung up, called us immediately. We're able to remediate and remove that quickly. Microsoft will never call you unsolicited. It really has to be something you initiate. Other best practices, it really starts with the password. Complexity, 12 characters or more. We call it special characters, which is a combination of upper, lower numbers and symbols. And use passphrases. It's easier to remember, and you can go longer. One example is, the 1987 Giants were the best, exclamation, exclamation. And also use a password manager such as Dashlane. There is a free version. We ask all employees here to use Dashlane. And what this allows you to do is it auto generates passwords, 25 characters for each site. So each site is unique. The worst thing possible is to use the same password on all your sites. So if it gets hacked, no fault of your own. For example, like Target was hacked many years ago, and there was a breach. And then the subsequent 6 months, you saw numerous breaches from these people. It all stemmed from the users using the same password. So if a hacker steals your username, which is usually your email and your password, immediately in the next 30 days, they're going to try to log into every public site. It seems like everyone on the planet has a Citibank, a Capital One card, American Express. So they're always going to try those usernames and passwords. We use multi-factor authentication if it's available. Always use the app. So the app, which is a Google or Microsoft Authenticator, is free of charge. It is much more secure than SMS. SMS is not as secure, and never use email for multi-factor authentication. The third, don't use public Wi-Fi without a VPN. Airports, cafes are not secure. There was a Wall Street Journal article, I think about 2 months ago, that there was a hacker who just set up in a public airport and created their own Wi-Fi, what's called an SSID. So it was really like, I forget the airport, but Orlando free Wi-Fi. And probably 3 dozen people connected to it. And if you're doing financial transactions, they're going to log all your keystrokes. They'll get your username, your password. So don't use a public Wi-Fi unless you absolutely have to. And you really should use a public VPN and I recommend NordVPN. There's lots of them out there. NordVPN, I use personally. We don't sell it at Link High, but I buy it personally. I think it's like $50 a year for up to, I think it was 5 devices. So I have it on my laptop, my iPad, my iPhone. So whenever I travel, and I can't use, my cell. It's either too slow or no reception. Then if I'm forced to use a Wi-Fi, I'm going to use NordVPN. Don't use unknown USB drives. Believe it or not, hackers are still giving out free USB drives at shows, leaving them in public spots, and people for some reason like to pick them up, plug them in, and as soon as you do, it can install malware or take control of your computer. The other thing is your daily login username should not have local admin rights. This is one of the best ways to prevent ransomware. For example, I have two logins. Victor@linkai.com is my daily one. It's a standard user. I can't install any software. If I want to install software, I'm going to use Victor_admin@linkai.com. And it's very easy to audit. So I probably use the Victor_admin maybe 3, 4 times a month at most. And if it starts showing up in our logs, then I know there's a problem. Any questions so far? You could put it in the chat. Joanna can mention it, and we can address it now. Otherwise, some other best practices, enable firewall protection on your work and home computer. Windows comes with a built-in firewall, so everyone should have the option to enable it. There's no cost. You should really use the current antivirus solution, and every antivirus solution, there's a free one in Microsoft called Microsoft Defender. It's okay, better than nothing. Any other commercial one, there is an annual subscription that you have to pay for. 3, update your computer frequently. So corporate PCs are usually patched on a regular basis. For example, Linkai patches all our client workstations on a daily basis. And that's really just some people shut off their computers. So we're always patching every single day. It's just to see if we can catch you when you're not using your computer to patch quickly. Home computers, you can set Windows updates to be automatic. And then this I want to really spend some time. So back up your data. Corporate servers should have a backup. PCs usually don't. I think 99% of our clients have Office 365. You can use OneDrive to save your documents. So instead of saving it on your laptop or your home computer where the hard drive can die, you should really save to OneDrive. It also makes it easier when you buy another computer. Instead of copying all this data back and forth, we could usually just log you into your Office 365 account, download the OneDrive. But it's very important. I think this is still relatively unknown. Both Microsoft and Google do not provide backup services for their Office 365 or G Suite. What they have is what they call 90-day retention. But 90-day retention is not a backup. It just keeps the data. So if you accidentally delete it, you could restore it. But after 90 days, if you delete it by accident, an employee does it intentionally, or ransomware or some sort of malware deletes it intentionally, you've lost it without a backup. You could also use internet backup services or a USB drive. So what else can you do? So everything discussed so far has been free or very low cost. Here are some security options that I think every organization should consider. Managed detection and response. The short acronym is MDR. I think the best analogy is that it's similar to your central alarm monitoring service. The service is manned 24/7 by 365. It'll notify Linkai or you as the customer if there's abnormal activity. We use the service ourselves. Here's a recent event. I think this happened about 3 weeks ago. It was a title company. The MDR service called and said that there's suddenly an Outlook forwarding rule on this person's computer, and it was looking for specific words like wire transfer, payment confirmation, routing number, and it was forwarding those specific emails to a Gmail account. So we were notified within 15 minutes. We disabled the rule. We scanned the computer. We actually went a little further. I had our engineers print out, I think, the last 4 hours of all sent emails, and we asked the person to review just to make sure nothing happened a little before. So I think the MDR is something very important. I think the name of cybersecurity used to be all about defense. How much the layers of defense I could put, what can I surround myself with solutions. I think it's really gone to a foregone conclusion that hackers will eventually be able to compromise your network or your emails, and then detection is really just as important as the protection. You really need both. You start with protection first. Detection should be a close second. And then along the same line is email threat detection. Business email compromise is number one method of hackers. I think we're seeing it once or twice a month now. Throughout our whole population, it doesn't matter, if you're an attorney, if you're manufacturing, a nonprofit, we're seeing it at least once or twice a month consistently. And again, early detection is key to emails. So just like the MDR, there's a service that detects abnormal activity. So abnormal activity could be impossible travel. I think we get this every weekend. That means multiple logins for the same person from different geographic locations. I think we had some person last week. It said logged in from New Jersey and then logged in from Paris like an hour later. So that's what's called impossible travel. It also looks for email forwarding rules. And then we can also, and it looks for geographic regions. So if you don't do a lot of international travel, it could automatically prevent you from logging into Office 365 once you leave the continental US. And we can also assign automatic rules to block you. So unless you tell us that you're traveling international, if someone logs in overseas, it's automatically going to lock your account. And I think the third one is upgrading your Office 365 to conditional access for Microsoft Intune. So it sounds a little complicated. Conditional access just means we can put certain rules, only log in from a continental US. So, or log in, a lot of clients are European based. So you can log in from the US, you can log in from Europe, no issues. It'll still send us an audit log so we know. And we know certain clients travel all the time, so we probably won't ask, but certain clients we know rarely travel. We're going to text you and see if you're really traveling to the country that we have in our logs. Yeah, so conditional access is another way that, again, it's just another way to prevent hackers. It's not, the be all, because hackers are smart. They're starting to open US accounts so they can hack you from within the United States. All you need is a credit card to rent the server, in the United States now. The other thing is Microsoft Intune. This is becoming very popular for clients that have a remote workforce, and it could be as little as 5 users, is the ability to block using Office 365, forwarding emails, doing screenshots on only corporate approved device. So for example, Linkai has Microsoft Intune on a laptop. Every employee gets a laptop. You can only log into Office 365. You can only log into our company applications from a corporate approved device. You can't log in from your home computer to check your email. You can't forward any link emails to a Yahoo or a Gmail account. You can't take a copy and paste from an Office app and paste it outside the Office applications on an unapproved device. Again, we do this because we want to be as secure as possible. Also, since we have a lot of police and government accounts, there's a new rule that BlinkEye, as the IT provider, has to have at least the same security level requirements as our clients. So we're constantly trying to raise our security posture to match our clients. So I'll stop there. Are there any questions? Joanna, do you see any questions or anything?
I don't believe so. Yeah, I don't see anything. Um, did anyone have any questions?
So if
Nothing
not,
yet.
okay. Well, Joanna, I'll save this presentation for it to you. You can, distribute it freely to your employees. It's not, formal security awareness training. I guess that's the other question I forgot is cyber insurance. There's a requirement, especially for any renewals for 2025, that you have security awareness training. Security awareness training is really having a service that provides regular security awareness training, could be monthly or quarterly, and that you actually keep track if your staff is taking these classes. There's numerous products on the market. We use KnowBe4 internally, and for most of our clients, what it does is Joanna actually handles that for LinkEye. Everyone gets 2 or 3 videos, asks you a few questions, and that is the proof when you answer those questions. So in cybersecurity, cyber insurance, they are asking it. I think last year was the first time they actually asked me for um, the attendance records for security awareness. Very easy when you have an automated system. All I had to do is export it to a spreadsheet, for it to the insurance company to prove that we had like 95% compliance. There's a second layer of security awareness training, which I find very effective. It actually sends out simulated phishing emails. And then it shows you on a weekly report who clicked on it. So, and it used as a teaching moment. So if someone clicks on it, what you can set it to give you more training. So if you click on a phishing email, then I'll send you more phishing training videos. We've had clients that, if you constantly click on it, they start tightening up your email security so you can no longer open attachments. But that's probably the last resort, because then you're really affecting, your staff's productivity. But it depends on what industry you're in. So if it's like in defense or police, if you keep on clicking on it, they will take the ability to open attachments away. But I think the training is very effective. More and more of the training, I think last month's training included Microsoft Teams for the first time. Microsoft Teams has really taken our clients by storm. I can't really think of any client that doesn't really use Teams to a certain extent. I think LinkEye lives in Teams. We're a hybrid, so there's a certain portion of the staff that comes in every day, or 2, 3 times a week, and then we have a couple employees that never come in because they're in other states. So it's been great. I
We do
think,
have a
yeah.
hand raised.
Okay.
Lou Adolphson said, please list the products you described and what they do.
The products that, okay. MDR. So MDR is, well, let's go back. I'll go back to um, the beginning one. So Dashlane is a password manager. There's a free version that is good enough for most people. What it does is when you log on to a website, it for the first time you create the account, it's going to ask you, do you want Dashlane to generate a password? And I always let them do it. It's a 25 character, and they save it. So the next time you go to that site, like Citibank, it automatically populates your username and password, right? So I think I took a look at my Dashlane before this presentation. I have something like, I'll just make sure, 75 logins to 75 different websites. All of them are 25 characters. I actually have no idea what my passwords are for like the majority of those sites. So Dashlane is really everything to me. That's why I have it on my phone, I have it on my computer, I have my iPad. Um, it's saved. I have a master copy of all passwords. It lets you export to a USB in case the internet's down. I also download a copy of Dashlane locally on the phone, so even if the internet or cell phones aren't working, um, I highly recommend Dashlane. But there's OnePass. There's other products out there. It's really they save the passwords. They create the passwords, save it for you, so you don't have to worry about it. Um, and the other, I forgot to mention, so I have the corporate version. We have two, I guess, outsourced bookkeepers. They have full access to our 401k, our Finney, our Chase, or Voya for, our health insurance. They make payments for me. So in the past, since bookkeepers seem to come and go, whenever someone left, we have to change the password for like 4 people, which becomes a security risk and just administrative nightmare. The Dashlane business version, I buy it for them. They don't have my password to any of those financial institutions. So when they leave, I don't have to change it if I don't want to, or if I do, it automatically changes it for everyone. So you're not sharing passwords. That it's a great feature. I think everyone should use the password manager, the free version or the business version. Um, the public VPN, eh, if you travel or you like to work in a cafe or somewhere with the public Wi-Fi, really should have a public VPN. I use NordVPN. I think I've been using it for 5 years, but there's other ones as well. I think I'm paying like $59 a year. I did quite a bit of travel during the summer, and a lot of places had really poor cell phone. Like when I was in Omaha, my cell phone didn't work at all. I had to use the hotel, I had to use the airport. So NordVPN was definitely a lifesaver.
Just to pop in really quick on that too. Lou did add that if we could, he said not verbally because he's not going to
Oh,
remember all this.
sure. We'll
So
type it up. I'll type it
yeah,
up then, and then we'll send it to everybody.
yeah.
Okay, not a problem. Any other questions?
I don't believe so. I think that's it.
Okay, so I'll work with Joanna. We'll have the list of vendors and what it does, a rough price point. So we don't sell Dashlane. I just buy it over the internet. I think I got a discount code because it was on CNBC every year. So I just type it in when I renew. Um, Yeah, NordVPN. Again, you just go to nordvpn.com and buy it online. We'll send it to everybody. And if you have any other questions, or if you want to talk about what you currently have, I noticed there's, some clients have been with us 20, 25 years, and we're having a hard time. Like, there's always more and more security. So what we're trying to do is we don't want to sell you, is we're trying to educate, here's the latest security, and this is highly recommended. The other thing we're trying to do probably next year is try to have like semi-annual calls. It's up to you if you want it. we're just kind of comparing what you currently have in terms of security and what cyber insurance is recommending or what the industry is recommending. The choice is always with the client, right? It's up to you to accept the level of risk that you're willing to take. Great. Well, thank you very much. I'm sure everyone has my contact info. If not, you can email me directly, give me a call. I'm happy to talk to any of our clients anytime. Great. Well, thank you very much. And then Joanna will be getting back to everyone soon.